Xero versus QuickBooks Online. Which one is actually better for your business? In this video, I'm going to break down the real differences between Xero and QuickBooks Online, who each one is actually good for, and the biggest mistakes we see business owners make when choosing software. Let's start with QuickBooks Online. This is the one most people end up using, and a big part of that is simply because it's the name everyone recognizes.
Hey, what's that on your screen?
Oh, that. QuickBooks accounting software from the makers of Quicken.
It's been around forever. It integrates with a lot of different apps, and there's a huge ecosystem built around it. On paper, that all sounds like a huge advantage, but here's what we actually see in practice. QuickBooks pushes automation pretty heavily. Sync your bank, connect your apps, and it'll just run in the background. And sometimes that works, but a lot of times those connections break. Those transactions duplicate. Things don't record correctly, and if no one's reviewing it, those issues just stack up over time. And that's where a lot of cleanup work ends up coming from. So, for most small businesses that want something widely supported with a lot of integrations, QuickBooks Online is usually where they end up, for better or worse. Now, let's talk about Xero. Xero tends to be a little more user-friendly, especially for business owners who don't have an accounting background. It uses more plain language, things like money in and money out, instead of a bunch of accounting terminology. It's also typically a bit more straightforward to navigate, and often comes in at a lower cost depending on how you're using it. But at the end of the day, it's still doing the same job. It's a system for recording financial activity, and just like QuickBooks, if the information going in isn't accurate, the reports coming out aren't going to be accurate either. So, if you're looking for something a little simpler and easier to navigate day to day, Xero can really be a solid option, especially for smaller or less complex businesses. So which one is better? For most small businesses, either one can work. This really comes down to what you're comfortable using, how your business operates, and whether the system is being managed correctly. Because we've seen both platforms work really well, and we've also seen both of them turn into complete messes. Most of the issues we see don't actually come from the platform itself. One of the most common mistakes is paying for features you don't actually need. A lot of business owners choose software based on where they think their business is going, instead of where it actually is today. So they end up with all these tools and features they barely use, while the core bookkeeping still isn't being handled correctly. Another big one is assuming the software is going to do the work for you. It doesn't. You still have to enter things correctly, review transactions, reconcile accounts. None of that goes away just because you connected your bank feed. And then there's the brand recognition factor. QuickBooks is the name everyone knows, so a lot of people default to it really without thinking through what they need. Meanwhile, there are similar options out there, like Wave, FreshBooks, or even something like Square for very early stage businesses. But those usually get overlooked. And then probably the biggest issue of all, bookkeeping just gets pushed to the side. You're busy running the business, things pile up, and before you know it, your numbers are behind, unclear, or just flat out wrong. You start noticing things like you're spending too much time trying to keep up with your books, you don't fully trust your numbers, you're making decisions based on what's in your bank account, or your business is growing past a few $100,000 in revenue. And when that starts happening, switching from one software to another usually doesn't fix the problem. What actually needs to change is how your accounting is being handled overall. So, if you're trying to figure out what direction actually makes sense for your business, whether you should keep doing it yourself, upgrade your setup, or bring in help, that's exactly what our ideal accounting solution quiz is designed to help you with. And if this video helped clarify things for you, subscribe. We put out content like this every week to help you make better financial decisions in your business.